Welcome down the Hobby Hole, a weekly podcast about hobbies, interests, and hyperfixations, sometimes our own, sometimes discovering new ones with guests. I'm your host, Daniel Rustage, musician, dungeon master, card game designer, man of many hobbies and interests, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host and best friend, Mark Shwabadi.
Hi, I'm also here.
Hello.
I'm not the main focus here.
No, the main focus is our special guest. And this is very exciting for me because I've always been a big fan of this guy. It is Mr. Shuffle T, battle rap extraordinaire, rhyming aficionado. Should I introduce yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Shuffle T. Yeah, battle rapper. What was it? Rhyme aficionado. I'm happy with that. I'll take that.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's me.
I have your book, obviously, and I'm waiting on your next one.
Your book. And I was just looking backwards to try and see it. But it's somewhere in the manga shelf. I have a shelf full of manga.
You don't have to lie about having it. If you don't have
I
it,
have it. It's here.
I'm sure it's just...
Yeah. Oh, it's.
Yeah. I have two copies. I have two copies.
I do want to say that Daniel's copy of the rhyming dictionary is just from such strenuous use. It is obliterated. Like the spine is all fucked up. All the pages are like bent. It's incredible.
Shuffle T is my lifeline for writing. I need it. When's your next book coming out? Do you want to promo your book at the start of this podcast?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the next book will be out in about probably 4 years because it takes ages to do them. But the Advanced Rhyming Dictionary. Well, I mean, like, you know, but being that this is about, I guess hobbies is a polite word for obsessions, but like for that, it's that's sort of an early culmination of the obsession of rhyme was the Advanced Rhyming Dictionary, which is meant to sort of like, I guess, be seen as like a bit of a, what's the term? Like a bit of an intriguing object to some people. They see it as like a sort of thing that goes, oh, this is sort of something to look at, like a joke book might be.
Oh, I see what you mean. Like,
I wouldn't necessarily use it.
It's not for everybody. It's not a tool. It's just like this is a fun
exactly.
book.
Some people it's just novelty, exactly. Mm-hmm. But for others who are as obsessed with it as I am, and as I'm sure you guys are, it's like a. It's not only a tool, but it's also designed to be something to like implant your own obsession into. Like there's gaps for you to put in your own rhymes and things like that to make it like your own and stuff.
Just to explain what it is,
obsessed.
It is a book that breaks down rhyming because you sort of follow this theory that rhyming really is just about rhyming stressed vowels in words and things, right? Like rhythmically rhyming stressed vowels, and a lot of people. When they start out writing rap, they come into this like frustration where they're only rhyming one syllable of a word or a phrase or something, or they'll get frustrated when they hear a song and it's like it's rhyming multiple syllables, but the last word's the same, and they're like, why are they rhyming the same word with each other? And it's like they don't understand. They don't understand.
That's it. I think it's like sometimes I feel even a little uncertain about whether we should call them rhymes, because they are rhymes in a sense. They're not the traditional perfect rhymes that people are used to, where it's like fact and act, where it's like it's almost like it's objective. This is a slightly more subjective version of like assonance.
I feel
plays
like
more with consonants.
A rhyme should just be defined by if it sonically sounds good, sounds like a rhyme.
I totally agree. I think it's harder to get people, especially people from a more like traditional background. People don't always necessarily. They have a hard time computing it. I think what happens sometimes is you can hear it in the context of a song or a rap or whatever, and you can sort of accept it. But then as soon as you say to someone, "Oh, that's me rhyming," I don't know,
baby steps with blatant theft.
Yeah, exactly. They go, well, that doesn't
like
rhyme.
Theft
and you go, well, it
and
does.
Steps. It's like, well, it does.
It's not really a rhyme, is it? And you go, well, it is. But if you heard it in context, you'd be happy. And then there's a type of person that just has that kind of setting already switched on.
I think that's the most important thing, is that even if you don't understand how the rhymes work, they do sound better when you listen to the music.
Right. Yeah.
They do make the music sound, even if you don't understand it, and you're not even going like, oh my gosh, these all rhyme. It tonally and sonically makes everything sound better, because it makes it all sound coherent and catchy and great and everything.
Yeah, but the catchiness is a big thing. Yeah.
The subject for this hobby hole is actually two things, because we realized that we should probably talk about both, is battle rap and rhyming, because rhyming we have a lot of experience with. We rhyme all the time, but battle rap we do not have experience with. That is your area of expertise. It's something that we are... I mean, speaking on behalf of Shwabadi, we are incredibly impressed with what you do.
Absolutely enamored by it. It's a very interesting field with a very interesting history, and I don't know too much about it. I do want to point out before we get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast, exciting realization that this is the first guest we've had on the podcast that doesn't share one of our names.
Yeah,
it has taken us until whatever this is, like episode 9.
We've had 4 guests, and they've been Mark, Daniel, or something.
Really? That's so weird.
Just everyone's had the same first name as us. This is great.
It's still, finally, still like a biblical theme. There's still like a biblical theme running through it. That's fine.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My favorite passage of the Bible, Guffle. But yes, rap battles. Let's start on that.
So, firstly, for a lot of our audience who are used to just listening to regular music, for lack of a better term, but also we do rap battles, but they're like pre-written sort of. They're like music. They're like epic rap battles of history. They're songs, right? Yeah. But your style of rap battle is different. Do you want to just explain how it differs from traditional rap music?
Yeah, sure. So I think, one of the main things that people are, I think, surprised by when they first see battle rap is that it's not on beat. Like, I think most people's experience of it is something like 8 Mile or even like the older sort of grime stuff, and a lot of it was on beat. And so I think there's always a bit of like, oh, it's not on beat. So and then people go, oh, it's sort of like spoken word, and we're sort of like, kind of, it's sort of a mix of all kinds of things, really. Yeah. And there are still some on beat ones, but they're a minority, really. So I think one of the things
in Japan, there's quite a few on beat ones I know of.
Right, yeah. And I mean, the States has quite a big, like, has some on beat stuff, and in the UK there is some. It's just not as prevalent, I think, overall as the a cappella stuff. But I think it's hard to pinpoint the differences. I think, like, because of the lack of beat, there's like more of an emphasis of developing your own rhythm. And I think that's why, for example, multisyllabics are such an important part of it, is because they have an inherent kind of rhythm that allows you to...
There's so much clearer. You could pick it out more when there isn't a beat. Like, you're listening to the words.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot slower. It's like deliberately sort of delivered in a sort of way that I don't know, feels more conversational. So it's more like a sort of conversation that happens to rhyme sometimes. I mean, there's all kinds of different styles, but that's kind of the style that I do and that I like watching.
That sliding scale of poetry to rap music is like you got poetry, slam poetry, rap battle, rap music.
Totally. And I think it's a wonderful world because, like, I mean, it's really varied, and you get loads of different styles and loads of different like approaches and things. And there's, but I mean, you'll never see. I personally don't think you see a better example of like wordplay and rhyming in any other world apart from battle rap. There's such a succinct ability from like, so, some of the people in there are just absolutely unbelievable, and their writing is so top notch, and you don't necessarily see it in the same way as like on tracks and popular music.
I think because the priorities are slightly different as well. Like I found this with writing music sometimes, that sometimes I will forego a really good rhyme scheme because it sounds too clunky, like rhythm, like in a song, right? I'm like prioritizing the way that something sounds, but you're
also, I think an element of it is because the live factor, being in front of an audience, is you need immediate feedback. So you're looking for the most. It's a little bit
like stand-up comedy in a way, right?
Yeah. It's very similar. Yeah, totally.
You're just trying to elicit a different kind of reaction, but it's that sort of performance.
Or even sometimes the same reaction. Sometimes you are just trying to get people to laugh, and it's really similar to like roasting. The history of roasting and things like that. It's like, just rhyming roasts.
Rhyming roasts. I mean, that's really all it is.
And sometimes there's no laughs, and sometimes there is laughs. It's kind of mixed up with that. But I think that's what it is. And because it's so much about being number one in that battle, you versus that other person. Not necessarily saying not necessarily the reasons or the content you're giving, but like it's more like just proving that you are a better rapper than the other person. So it really drives that competition, which makes it makes it so much harder to be the best.
I always love the energy that you bring to your rap battles, and it's probably a compliment that you get quite a lot, because obviously the stereotype of a lot of battle rappers is they're quite aggressive, they're quite hard, right? And you have this sort of like flamboyance to your performance that like puts people off guard, if for lack of a better term, right? Like I feel like a lot of people don't know how to approach you as an opponent, and it creates these really fun situations where it feels like you always have the upper hand because you're playing a different game to them.
Well, this is it's an interesting thing, because I think when someone takes themselves quite seriously, it's quite easy to undercut that. When you're doing comedy, you can sort of like you can literally just do something like go, all right, calm down, and then all of a sudden like you've sort of
you defused it,
pricked the balloon, but like there's also there's sort of an adverse side to that, whereas when I go up against someone else who's like a comedy battle rapper, where I can't do that, then it becomes way, way, way harder to win that purely off jokes. And then you have to yourself bring in more seriousness to try and to try and surprise people
sort
in that
of
way.
rock, paper, scissors, like, in a way.
It is a bit, it's there's a bit of tactic to it and how you approach it, and it's always a bit of a balancing act, knowing when to go a bit more serious and when to make a bit of a joke, and keeping it varied as much as possible. And it's a tricky line to walk, because you don't want to look like you're taking yourself too seriously, because nothing is more dislikable, and you have to be likable. So it's like, so if you take yourself seriously, you better then be like a bit, self-deprecating, and then come back with. Yeah,
it's really a difficult line to balance.
I think one of the things that I love about rap battle is the vast spectrum of like you can have battles that are silly. You can have battles where both people are just trying to make other people laugh, basically cracking jokes the entire time. And then you can have the far other side where these people genuinely hate each other and have serious beef going back. It's deeply personal and serious. Like,
100%.
feels like it's on the brink of violence at any moment. And just that whole...
They're so perfect, because like when you've got ones where there's genuine tension, then like there's so much more riding on who wins, so you're so much more invested in it. But then when there's like someone who's silly versus someone who's serious, which like a great example of that, I don't know if you ever saw it, but was a title match from like 2014, which was someone called Tony D versus O'Shea, who's a London guy versus a Liverpudlian. And O'Shea is just one of the funniest people you've ever seen in a battle rap. And Tony D is one of the most technical and amazing writers you've ever heard. And it was those two against each other for the title. And it was one of the best battles ever, because you got the funniest guy versus the most serious and technical guy.
That's awesome.
You're laughing so much here, and then every time he does a bit of seriousness, you're like, oh, because it's like amplified by the fact that it's surrounded by that. And then here you've got this seriousness, and you're like, yes. And every time there's a hint of a joke, you get so much more from that. And it just kept going. It was one of the hardest battles to judge.
That's incredible.
It was amazing. I think, there's so many great examples of those.
In terms of like more comedic, there's a guy called Calcium Kid that I quite like.
He's elite. He's amazing. He's really like
the kid. It kills me because we briefly had a thing.
Oh no, this can't be the time and place. This is like the most in-depth joke from our teenage years, where I used to pretend I used to pretend I was the Calcium Boy, and I would it's pre-knowing who the Calcium Kid was. I would say I was a Calcium Boy, and I would. Every time it was just me and Mark alone, I'd be like, I'm the Calcium Boy, I'm the Calcium Boy, drink it up, I'm the Calcium Boy. And then I'd be like, nobody will ever believe you. And the thing is, I don't know why I said that, because obviously people would believe him.
I had to bring that up because every time I hear the name Calcium Kid, I think about
you are traumatized.
Us in a room alone and you're improvising a song on my keyboard about the Calcium Kid or the Calcium Boy. And I'm like, that's all I can think of. But yes, very, very funny.
How did you get into battle rap? I actually don't think I've ever asked you this. Like, how did you start? It's probably a question you've gotten a million times, but
but that's all right. No, it was about 11 years ago, maybe 12 years ago, and I've been watching a lot of it with Marlo, who's my sort of like battle rap.
Shout out Marlo,
2-on-2 partner. Shout out Marlo, and we were watching, we started off watching Eminem's old 1996 rap battles, and then it got onto the sort of UK stuff and Don't Flop and things like that. And then we'd watched them for about a year or so, and then we were just like, we must just go to one. We've got at least like attend to watch one live. And so we booked tickets to go to, I think it might have been I think we just turned up and hoped that we got in. Yeah. Like pay on the day. And it was like £10 to go see this thing in Shepherd's Bush in a place called Ginglick. I think it was there. And it was
Ginglick?
Ginglick, yeah. It's like an underground.
I don't think we could say that.
Is ging a thing?
I don't know. It just sounds like it is.
Would be, doesn't it?
Now it is.
Okay, continue.
So like, it was. It turned out that it wasn't a pre-written rap battle, which like all rap battles basically pre-written as of about 2009, 8. But like, it was like a throwback event where they were like, it's all freestyle. So come on. And so we were there, and literally, I always think it's like a bad film script because someone dropped out and didn't attend, and I'd been drunkenly telling the co-owner that I can rap, which I couldn't, and I was shit. And so he went off and then got told that they were one person short, and then came back to me and was like, "You said you rap, right?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Do you want to like jump on?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I couldn't lose face. I had to be like, "Yeah, of course, no problem." I was just like too embarrassed to say no. And so I wrote down my name, and it was like no one knew who was going up against who. But I think because I wrote down my name rather than it being pre-printed because I hadn't already said I was going to be on it, I wrote down. And so I got a look at everyone's name. Yeah. And I saw one name, Lefty, and I realized he hadn't battled yet. So I knew that I would be up against Lefty. See. And so in my head, I was thinking of all these rhymes, but I was shit. I was so shit back then. Not that I'm not shit now. I'm not trying to
you're incredible now.
I was double shit back then. And so, I was like, oh, Lefty. I was like, oh, you'll get hit with a left knee. I was like, that's brilliant.
That's incredible.
Then, that's going to win the crowd. And like, I was so shit that I think the crowd sort of thought I was being ironic. Yeah, because I said something like, I'll take you to France and start making you dance, which I had no but I said it because it came into my head at the time, and people were laughing when I was trying really hard. And so eventually I ended up winning that match, which is actually mental because it was all like them being like, he gets the comedy side of it, and I didn't. And then so then it was like a tournament, and I got knocked out after the second. There was a 3-way battle, I think, so I got knocked out after one person was knocked out, and then I was like third or fourth maybe, which I was well happy with. I was over the moon. And then I got asked to come back and do a written one against the person who was meant to be there on the day but didn't come, and then it just sort of snowballed. Had that battle, had another battle, and then before I knew
started learning and getting better at it.
Yeah, exactly. It was honestly the steepest learning curve. Like I can't emphasize how terrible I was at that bit. And then as soon as like I had agreed to do a battle live and write it, I was like, I think that something just sort of clicked where I was like, I've got to be. I know how shit I am. I've just, when it dawns on you, I think I'm bad at this. Yeah. So I was lucky that I sort of, I was able to sort of get a bit better in a shorter amount of time. And then it was a slower, more progressive learning curve over the next like 12 years to where I am now.
Which is incredible. I mean, I was sort of, my origin story is not that different. Where I've talked about this before. Well, mine a little bit. It's the same in the way that it's you're pushed into it immediately. Where I had somebody who, there was a guy rapping poorly, and somebody said, "Hey, your rapping is so bad, even Rustage could rap better than you," because I was like a 13-year-old kid, and it was supposed to be a joke. And they're like, "I'd like to see him try," and I was like, "Okay, I'll try." And I made a rap song, and then you just from that first part of doing it, it's just sort of becomes an addiction, and you can't stop.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Was that the same for you, Mark?
Mine now. Listen. My journey in rap is such a meandering
because he started as like a folk musician.
Did you really?
Singer-songwriter, folk
genuinely,
musician,
he spent most of his rapping in an American accent because he was embarrassed.
I spent because you were embarrassed. You weren't embarrassed because of that.
No,
I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed of my accent, I guess, because I'm Northern. and my northern accent was a lot more pronounced sort of a decade ago. And when I first started, like, the only voices I'd heard in rap were like London, proper London in grime, and then American. So I was like, well, I'm not from fucking London, and I don't think I can do a very good London accent.
American
so
it is.
I'll go American, and I just did this ridiculous American accent for like 8 years.
Legitimate songs on my channel with millions of views where Mark is doing an American accent. Right?
Yeah, I think all of the most popular songs that I'm on of yours are me fucking an American, 6 years ago.
I totally get it, though. I think there's such a temptation for UK, or certainly there was a while back. I think like it's been so elevated in the UK now that people are like more proud of their sort of voice and things. But like, I think there was a real temptation in the early 2000s, even into the late noughties or whatever, that like, I don't know, it didn't sound proper if you weren't doing an American accent, and also like the ability to sort of like bend rhymes sort of felt a bit easier when you're doing it in a different accent.
Well, the thing about rhymes is that it's like there are things that rhyme in different accents and various and I always found that like if you're British, you could put on a slight American twang to make certain rhymes work, but Americans can't put on a slight British twang. But have you heard of that story? There was this these rappers from Scotland. They're called Syllable and Brains, and they tried to get a record deal as Scottish rappers, and nobody would accept them. So then they forged a new identity where they pretended to be from California. They came up with completely new names, and they wrote the exact same songs but with American accents, and then they got a record deal and started doing shows and stuff. It's incredible. Their music's actually quite fun. But
I've got a feeling they might have had a rap battle at one point. Actually.
Maybe
that might be in my head, but I think I've got.
They were only around for a bit because then I think they felt too guilty and they were like, we can't do this anymore. We can't live this because all of their like friends that they had made since being rap artists thought they were American. I think one of them was in a relationship.
It's living the lie,
right? It's insane.
That's the thing. It's like the prestige. Like, there's one thing doing the trick and making it look a certain way, and then there's one thing like just having to. Everyone you know is just brought into this lie.
And that must be so stressful. That. I think they're probably just like accountants today or something.
Good job.
All right.
What? I like the idea they're accountants, but they're still like doing the American. They come in and they're like, I'm your accountant. And they're like, I don't really like it. Oh, sorry, I'm your accountant.
That's my accountant.
You're in. That's a voice I trust.
Yeah. You sound like you know something about money. Incredible. I was going to say one of the first rap battles I remember watching, obviously, you get the ones in movies and stuff, you get the M&Ms and blah 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 that you're exposed to, but the first one I actually watched, it was, I don't know if it was Don't Flop. I watched a lot of Don't Flop, but the first one was Mark Grist versus Blizzard.
Oh yeah,
Blizzard.
that's the classic
the
one.
teacher versus student classic.
2010, 2011.
Yeah, just because it was like, the viral clip. And I was like,
that was proper viral.
I wasn't interested in battle rapping because all I'd seen of it was very, dramatized, super serious American. And I was like, I'm not that bothered about it.
Yeah.
And then I got brought in by that little gimmick of, the teacher versus student,
Titling
and then from there, it's kind of like, I just spiraled and discovered everything through the recommended videos. But it's a fun entrance point.
I think seeing that battle was such an eye-opener for so many people because you got Mark Grist, who, in all intents and purposes, is like this posh, middle-class teacher, poet kind of thing, who represents nothing what you'd expect from traditional battle rap. And then you've got Blizzard, who was, I think, maybe 16, 17, but like this sort of scally and sort of, really like... mouthy kid. It felt, and he kind of represented a version you could accept. And there was this battle rap between them that just was so it felt so unique. And actually, it wasn't that unique. It was representative of what was happening in battle rap all the time. But to the outside, you see an older guy and a younger guy, and you go, "Oh, anyone can do this." And here are all these funny lines and all this silliness.
I mean, it's like the Dan Bull effect. It's just that you need that introduction to a style that clicks with you.
Right, exactly. And I think it's so lovely that that's so many people's introduction, because it's quite a charming a rap battle. Thing to do. Like have a teacher versus a student, and what so many people say is that like it's a really hard one to judge. Actually, like for people who are really into it and obsess over it, the writing from both is so good. It's
well, that's the thing, right?
Either way.
The setup of the viral clip makes you think that it's just a teacher destroying a student, but the Blizzard's really good.
That's why I think it was such a good entrance point for me. It's because the gimmick only really extended to the title of the video. As soon as you're actually in there and you're watching it, you're like, oh, this is what battle rap is about.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, now I'm gonna binge all the title matches from Don't Flop from the early 2010s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Shuffle T and Marlowe doubles matches.
Oh, classic. Just incredible.
Absolutely amazing.
Those are the most fun ones, man.
Yeah,
those are the most fun because
I want to do it one day. I want to do...
Man,
I would be shit. I'd be so bad.
You two are best friends, right?
Oh, we could double.
You
could easily do a double. Like you could do it. Just do it against two other people who do similar things to you. It'd be so much fun. And I think there's something that happens when you do a double match where it's like in a solo, there's so much tension put on you, and you're so nervous, and like no matter what kind of a performer you are nervous before you go on. But when you're 2-on-2. Still nerves, but like there's this comfort, this deep thing of like it doesn't matter how bad it goes. I'm with my best mate. This will be fun. And you've got that person to rely on. There have been so many times where I've sort of like forgotten where I am, and then Marlowe's whispered in my ear, or vice versa. And
I don't want to put you on the spot, but
we'll battle you.
But Rustage and Shwabadi versus Shuffle T and Marlowe.
Yeah, why not?
We would get destroyed. That would be crazy. But we'd have an amazing time.
You would annihilate us, but that would be incredible.
It would be fun, though. It would be fun.
It'd be incredible.
But I think there's a bit of crossover when you guys write the songs that are specifically about like
characters and stuff,
fiction, right? Or characters. I think there's actually quite a bit of crossover there because there's this ability to focus or hone in on one particular either person or story or world.
I love it.
And focus specifically on that.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Which
I
is
see what you're getting
quite
at.
similar to battle rap, where you. I mean, like like traditional music, right? You're given a blank slate and you go write about whatever you want, and you go, geez, I don't know where to start. Like, even do it. Which is why I can only write concept stuff because it's it's a thing to talk about. But and I don't think there's a million miles away from what you guys do. Like if you could do like a character assassination thing on a character, and it's just the same, but like putting it to a real life person.
And we 100% have, because we've written rap battle stuff before, but for fictional characters. We've done like Luffy versus Goku, right? And so we understand the sort of that sort of aspect of it. I think also Mark did a sort of nerdcore rap battle league at one point where people came on rap battle, which was a lot of fun.
That was nothing illustrated to me how high the level of skill is in actual battle rap leagues than when I hosted an online battle rap league, and I was like, wow, the bar is like...
You had some good people, though. Quest was good.
There was some
Priest
decent
was
people.
Good.
There were some decent folks. Like, the people who were just rappers and had been rapping for a while and listened to a lot of rap, you could tell that they knew what they were doing. But like, as soon as like someone would jump in just because they were like, oh, I want to give this a go, I could diss someone, and it's just miserable the entire like 3 minutes.
It's one of those things that I think it's again, it's like stand-up comedy. I think people have this like everyone has this thing in the back of their head of like, I think I could do pretty good at that. And then you go, well, brilliant, and like even if people are really good at writing it, like performing it is a whole different skill.
Aspect. The memorization would be the rough thing for me. I have a terrible memory.
It's the worst. It's the worst thing in the world. I hate remembering stuff.
I wouldn't be able to do it.
But it's interesting because like it has luckily sort of coincide. So I'm a man of many obsessions as well over the years. I get obsessed with something new, and there's always like ones that are there in the background, like the rhymes and the battling and stuff like that. But like I had a massive obsession with like memory and memory techniques and stuff, which came because I wanted to learn battle rap, and when I was really into Magic, I needed to learn the order of like a deck of cards, and so I remember learning all things like that. And so there's been a bit of a crossover, and now I use rhyme to remember stuff in a weird sort of flip.
Oh, that's so cool.
Of fate, which is it's really cool. And but like I've always had a billion different obsessions that I'm lucky if they cross over. And actually, my most recent one, which I've been obsessed with for I think probably a year and a half, is like I've recently got into comic books and manga and things like that.
Oh yeah, let's
graphic
go.
novels. And now I'm obsessed. And now I can't stop trying to bring elements of that into.
Gotta read One Piece. You gotta read One Piece.
I started reading One Piece and I got 30 issues in, and I was like, how many have I got left? All right.
Don't think of it.
970.
Don't think of it like that. Listen. It was what I always say to people. Don't think of it as a thing you have to catch up on as quick as possible. Think of it like a cupboard full of chocolate bars. That's what I say. Cupboard full of chocolate bars. Every day you want a chocolate bar, it will be there for you, right? And you should find comfort.
No rush to get through it.
No rush to get through it. They're confident in the fact that there will always be One Piece if you need it. Because people rush to catch up with it. They get to the end, and not only do they rush through a bunch of stuff so they don't fully enjoy it, but then they also now I just want more One Piece. It's like, bitch.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't like, because there's so much to catch up on everything for me as well. Like, 30, 40 years of... Well, 30 years of 40 years of like where I'm interested in Marvel stuff, for example. I don't really like the 70s and before. I'm not that into. So like 80s, 90s, noughties, 10s, and modern times. I find it so hard to like know what to prioritize, and so I just buy everything, and then I read this omnibus, and then I got part 2 of that, and I go, I don't want to use all that now, and then I read the first omnibus of this one, and then I'm just like, I'm like, there's no order to this. I'm just hoping it's all going to stick in.
You do have the benefit though of like coming into a hobby late is you can just get the cream of the crop. You don't have to go through that process of reading all the shit stuff. Like there are YouTubers out there who will be like, this is the good stuff. If you want recommendations, you could ask us. We know good manga and stuff. And also, if you get more into manga and other forms of media, listen, I gotta have you on a song at some point, for real.
I'd be happy, man. I'd be happy. I've just finished. Well, I've reread Death Note again. Yeah, and then I've listened to a podcast of someone talking about it because I love it so much. No, and now I'm almost through Attack on Titan. Yeah, I've just got Akira.
I'm glad you're reading it as well. I'm such a pro reader over watching. Yeah, I'm just I love manga.
I mean, I started watching Attack on Titan a few years ago, and it got up to series 2, and then there's big gaps between them, right?
Yeah, because they got to work on them. So you just transition,
right? And then I was like, I think there's this like beginning naivety when you get into anime where you're like, I wish I could like watch the next bit, and then someone eventually goes, it's like printed.
It's all there. It's all out.
Oh shit!
It's all there if you want to know what it is.
And then you're like, oh yeah, this is what I should be doing.
Yeah, and this is like, this is great. I realize we've properly got off topic here. I did want to mention that if we did a duo rap battle, Connor Quest would be livid. Actually,
oh yeah,
because Connor Quest, our friend. So we form a rap group called the UK Trio, which doesn't work as a name if outside like in the UK. It's because there's a lot of nerd carotters that are Americans, and we're like a prominent 3 British ones. So we're the UK Trio, and we do a lot of rap stuff together. But Connor Quest is also a huge Shuffle T and battle rap fan.
Yeah, I think he's I think he's commented on some of the rhyming challenges. I definitely know the name from like a while ago.
100%. Yeah. He's an incredible writer. Could we do a trio battle? Do you have a third person that you could do?
We don't need a third person.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, you know what? No. That's fine. That's fine, actually. UK Trio versus Shuffle T and Marlowe would actually be so good. Can we do that?
That would be crazy.
That would be an amazing concept.
We need a better name than UK Trio.
We do.
I say this every time the name UK Trio comes up. I say this.
We do have Monster Trio. Monster Trio is better, to be honest. That's what we tried to rebrand as.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something there. Danny Trejo's pretty good. Like Danny Trejo, your dad.
But named after only me.
Yeah, just call it the Rustage 3.
Yeah, the Rustage 3.
Rustage and then cubed.
Well, if you take like the first letters of each of our names, you could do something like Run DMC.
That's good.
Daniel, Mark, and Connor. Yeah. If you did Shwabadi, Quest, and Rustage, it's
Pun DMC.
Pun DMC.
That's ass.
That shit is ass.
You've fallen off. I'm sorry. Get out of here.
Happened long ago.
I'm pre-ordering your book. I'm so excited for that book because the sort of multisyllabic, because in your initial book you just have sort of, for example, A-E and then A to E, but the new book that you're working on has like A to E, A to D,
Well, you've seen it, I think. When
I've seen
met
parts
up, I think I showed you the...
Yeah, I have a copy of a Google document of a work in progress version of it.
That's right, yeah.
Which I do look at sometimes, and it does help with my work, so occasionally.
I mean, I love it. It's kind of, it's fun because it's the thing I would be doing if I couldn't publish it. Like, I mean, the first book we were doing as like as I say, me and Jamie Blease, who co-wrote the book, we were sort of like writing it as a thing to hold on to some of these rhymes. The thing about rhymes is, I think, and you guys might, because of how much you have to put out and how many songs you've got online, right? It's a bizarre thing where, although they stay with you and you have these the memory of them and you have the content of them on your YouTube and stuff, like they're kind of ethereal, like they're here for a moment, and they're ephemeral. Sorry, they're here and then they're gone. Like, and now you've got a song that's out there and it exists, and you can't really reuse those rhymes, or at least you don't really feel great about doing it. So they just sort of exist in this sort of grey area. So what I think the book initially was, when we were just handwriting it at first, it was just sort of like, let's just keep these rhymes in a sort of place where they live and exist in their own merit, not contextualized by like a song or anything. The lines of a song or a rhyme or whatever. Just the rhymes. And the rhymes have to be strict. Like, we didn't want to keep any old rhyme. It was rhymes that were like already existing terms, phrases, names,
exactly.
nouns,
That's what I really liked about the books, is because it's a good way of finding like existing phrases that work in rhyme schemes. Because obviously you can construct a rhyme scheme for a sentence that you're working on, but you're just, using words that work in that rhyme. But your books and the document is really great, because you will have like, it will be the rhyme scheme will be A to the air, and you could do anything, but you'll be like bacon and eggs, which is Day of the Dead, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sorry. What is standoff of conversation? I was just going to say, I find it very satisfying when a rhyme scheme ends on a familiar phrase rather than kind of an arbitrary rhyme. Like, even if the rhyme is very good, if it's like just any string of words, it's like, okay.
The rule is always, you think of a line and you go backwards, right? You put it second.
Work backwards, exactly. Yeah. And it's interesting because I think when you're writing, certainly this is how I feel about battle rap, is that, again, it's a fine line to walk between using already existing phrases so that people can sort of have recognition and feel like something is being closed off and satisfying, but also using things that sound naturally conversational. And so there's a level of really sometimes tricky. Too many nouns or phrases sounds too much, and it goes, that just sounds like it's from a list,
like a gobbledygook.
But mixed in with like a conversational, natural way of saying something, that can be a very
that is the most difficult thing to do. It's true. The most difficult thing with rhyming is that I think a lot of people can just fundamentally understand rhymes and then make a whole bunch of rhyming things, but you need it to also, when you read it, sound like something someone would naturally say, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And that is a struggle. That's a thing. When I was a lot younger, that was my biggest issue, because I'd be like, I got to do these rhymes, and I have lines like. I'm a sex shavers. I'm a net quavers. I think I have a lot. I like it aired at a bombing pit, piss in a ditch, and it's filled with it. And it's like, what
I'm so glad you remember
about?
This rhyme scheme as well.
Awful.
This is one of my favorite things you've ever written, because it's genuinely 30 seconds of nonsense.
Nonsense. It's just it's like. A song isn't automatically better because everything it also you need to rhyme, make sense, and like. Also, like the lyrics have some sort of meaning to them.
These are the pitfalls when you're starting out, isn't it? It's like, the faster the better, the more rhymes in a line the better, the sort of more difficult a wordplay is the better. When actually it's like, no, simplify that wordplay, it's much better. Slow down, it's much better, and don't over rhyme, it's much better. But like, you can't tell someone to do that. Like, you have to find out for yourself.
You need that like good balance of everything, and it needs to all sort of work coherence. I have the 4 pillars of rap when I write rap, which is like rhyming, flow, the sort of sound, and the lyrical content. And I feel like all of those pillars have to be good,
perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced, right? If it's just rhyming without any sort of meaning, it's ass. If you've got good meaning, but like the lyrics like don't flow well and there's no good rhymes, then it's like, what are you doing? You're just talking at me.
Yeah.
And you can,
yeah.
I find it interesting when you're comparing specifically songwriting with like battle rap. It's like when you say like conversational. I feel like with songwriting you can get away with being your lyrics being a lot more like prose. You know what I mean?
Because you're not,
sure.
because people aren't hanging on every word.
Natural. Yeah,
sometimes
like if you read lyrics out loud, they're not always going to sound like something a person would say. But with battle rap lyrics, I feel like you have to go through those and be like, this needs to sound like something someone would say out loud.
I think that's a great point, and I think it's because, like I was saying earlier, like the beat sort of carries a lot of those imperfections. Is an unpleasant word for what I mean by it, but like that grammatical imperfection, or things like that. It carries a lot of those through, and also, like you say, it's more prosaic. It's more sort of like poetic in a sense, because you sort of have this feeling of poems aren't written always in a natural way. Like a famous poetry isn't written. If you spoke like that, you'd be absolutely fucking mental. If Shakespeare spoke like that, you'd be insane. But like
it's always talking in iambic pentameter.
Yeah, you just go, why do you sound like that? Stop bobbing your head to your own words. It's annoying. But
I think it is very important, right? To have that rhythm in it. I have this pet peeve, and this is so off topic. I have a pet peeve with limericks, when people write limericks and the rhythm isn't right, because limericks is
one or two syllables too many.
It's a sort of there's like a beat every single thing, and people write limericks and they just think it's an A-A-B-B-A rhyme scheme, and it's like, this isn't a limerick, it's that and the rhythm.
I have the same thing with when there's like always these for some reason over the last couple of years, this joke has become bigger and bigger of like, roses are red, violets are blue, and then something completely off kilter that says I'm going to the gym, so don't do a poo, or something stupid like that. And the amount of times that there's like one too many syllable in that third line. Roses are red, violets are blue, I'm going out to my friend's house now, and I'm like, that makes me want to cheese grate my face off.
I mean, this is quite a common issue when people who do like parody songs and they don't match the like people who do like Minecraft parody song or whatever, or just joke parody songs, and they're not matching the syllables of the original song. So it's like, this is what are you saying? You're not. This sucks. Like.
It's just a different song, which is fine, but just do a different song. It's fine.
I'm not even saying you have to keep the same rhyme scheme as the original. That like helps, right? It helps with the parody, but to keep the same syllabic structure, because you're changing the melody. You're changing the song when you don't keep the same the rhythm, right?
Now, it jars when you listen to it. You don't want to sing along to it. You don't want to enjoy it as much. You want it's like stopping and starting.
They should be line up and shot. Honestly,
take him out back and shoot him in the face.
My dad was almost lined up and shot in Romania in the 19. This is how often
know that. Yes, I do. Anyway, should we move on?
I don't quite remember.
I don't know that. What do you mean?
I don't quite remember the story when he told me about it. But he was traveling in Eastern Europe back when the Cold War was on. And do you know the opening of Skyrim where you haven't played Mark, you played Skyrim. In the opening of Skyrim, you're going to be executed, and there's a guy on there who's only being executed because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, he was like going across the border at the wrong time, and he got picked up with a bunch of rebels, and so he gets executed. That was my dad. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they thought he was part of this like rebel insurgents group, and he was about to be like genuinely executed until the British embassy came in and were like, you've got some British people here who are not part of this rebel insurgents group.
They're like, my mistake. He
was like, fuck.
No, that's on us.
Anyway, that's incredibly off topic.
Your family has some mental stories, but
that is pretty insane. I was gonna say one of the this is back on topic, which makes it off topic from your off topic.
No, go back.
I was gonna say one of the because I'm so obsessed with rhyme, and when we sort of made the book, we sort of it unearthed a lot of people who were as obsessed with rhyme as me and some of my friends are, and so that's when we started doing the daily challenge of like sort of putting a rhyme scheme up, and it's from the book and the future book and things like that, and people get involved, and so many sort of like obsessives came out of the woodwork on that, and then that led to me and a few of my friends making Sounds Like, which is the like the panel show, which is
I wanted to
basically
shout out Sounds
about
Like.
rhyme.
I also want to be on Sounds Like one day.
Man, you can 100% come on Sounds Like. You can either come live in the flesh, or we're probably going to start doing some more online ones soon.
Honestly, I'd love to do the live one. I'd love to do that.
I would love to have you on. And Mark, you know, you can.
Listen. I will. I'm just happy to be invited.
I mean, it would be great to have you guys on against each other or something. Like it.
That would be brilliant.
Yeah.
Because listen, I've watched some Sounds Like, and I think it's a brilliant concept, brilliant show. Most of the guests, fantastic. Occasionally, the guests remind me how most people don't actually know how to rhyme that well. Not very often, just very occasionally. I'm like, oh, this is a skill.
Yeah.
No, that's it. I mean, sometimes we have on like comedians, and they're just like, "What are you guys doing? Why are you here? What are you making me do?" But so sometimes randomly, you have a comedian who has no prior sort of history with rap or rhyming or anything, who just absolutely smashes it out of left field, and that's crazy. And sometimes we have amazing rappers who just don't get the concept of multisyllabic, because it's just not that important to them in their music and stuff. And but yeah, it's so much fun. We're actually starting a new thing as of this Monday. I had the idea just the other day, where it's like people can come on and like it's like an online pub quiz, but just a rhyming pub quiz that we're going to start doing every Monday.
Is this like we used to play this game called the setup game, where we'd have a rhyme scheme, and then we would give each other the setup to the rhyme, and they would have to guess what the rhyme is, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if the rhyme,
good. Yes.
Let's say the rhyme scheme is like A to air, right? And then I'd be like, if I'm not gonna shoot you with my gun, then I'll stab you with my
bayonet.
Right, you get it, right?
Right.
You know, I'm money making. I'm a golden goose the way I
lay an egg.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we used to do this all the time. I don't know. If
we used to do this while we played Minecraft.
What a life we've led.
What a life.
We do actually have
my favorite. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, continue. You say.
I was just gonna quickly, while we were talking about Sounds Like, one of my favorite things that's been happening on the socials is like the rhyming images thing that you guys put out.
Oh man, I love those. Yeah,
those are so much fun, and they always like stump me for like a solid 10 minutes, and then everything just falls into place all at once. I'm like,
yeah,
beautiful.
No, those are so much fun, and those ones that we've been putting up. Or I've put up 2 recently that were made by me, but the ones that are made by Kruger, who's one of the co-founders of the show and our editor and a panelist. He's just he's great at making like deliberately shit Photoshop, where it's just like Naomi Campbell with a broken ankle, and Naomi Campbell's head is like 2 times bigger than it should be, and the broken ankle is like at an impossible angle, and it's I love it when it looks really dog shit. That's my favorite kind of one.
All right, is there anything you wanted to say? Because we've almost hit 50 minutes, so we're probably going to wrap up.
Yeah, we always
way
longer than expected.
No, I mean, people who think they're into rhyme, like I swear to God, you'll get so much more into it if you watch some battle rap or if you watch some Sounds Like.
If you're just casually into like rap music, you should also listen to battle rap just to absorb that.
Yeah, or even just like comedy and fun, and you know, it's just a fun medium, and it's a real laugh, and like
just enjoy life,
and and rhyme is brilliant. And if you're anything like me, about 12 years ago, you think you like rhyme, and then this door opens to how insanely broad a scope rhyme can actually be, and how much joy it can bring to your life in an unironic way. So if you like rhyme,
one of my favorite tweets of yours, I think it's a tweet of yours, when there was that news thing that was like psychopathic tendencies like a lack of empathy.
Like a lack of empathy. Yeah, it was it was the Red Handed podcast.
One of the craziest found rhymes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It
was about Rose West. She already had psychopathic tendencies like a lack of empathy. Actually, I was just listening to a murder podcast, and I was just making a sandwich. I'm just like, oh shit, he fucking did it!
Incredible.
He fucking did it! I gotta tell everyone I know that this woman I've never met accidentally rhymed.
It's like a 4-syllable like multi-rhyme. It was amazing. I loved it.
It's amazing. So good.
Sometimes
the biggest one I remember.
You continue, yeah.
I was going to say the biggest one I ever saw. As a battle rap fan from a few years ago found it, and it was. I see it every day now. Every time I go shopping, I see it, and it was a tin that said Italian chopped tomato with basil and oregano.
Oh, yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah,
and he was
yeah.
like, how have I never known? And we're like, that
never noticed.
is amazing. We're all just getting excited about this can of fucking tomatoes. Everyone's going out and buying them. So
whenever I watch the NBA and the commentators will occasionally like rhyme by accident, and I always pop off.
It's nothing more satisfying than like a truly accidental rhyme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where like no one else is going to notice it
Especially
apart from
if
an
it's
obsessive.
on like beat, like accidentally, like on
It
meter.
has like a flow to it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
they snapped on
That's
this one.
it. They did it. Another one.
Yeah.
Another one.
All right. Okay. We're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much, Mr. Shuffle Tea. I don't know.
Pleasure, guys. No, it's lovely
Really
to chat.
appreciate it. I look forward to all of your future endeavors. And if you guys don't know Shuffle Tea, just look up his rap battles, buy his book, support him in any way you can.
And join the Monday quizzes we're going to be starting.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
You can win half the ticket price. Whoever gets the highest takes half the ticket price home. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That's amazing. I love that. Usually we end Hobby Hole episodes by just screaming like we're falling down a hole.
What I would like on this one,
Yeah.
Daniel, if it's all same, is if you could give us a rhyming outro.
Oh, me?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. Nicky Shuffle Tea do it.
Oh, well.
I think he said Daniel. I'm pretty sure he said Daniel.
Yeah,
No,
I
he
did say Daniel,
but he doesn't.
But
Should we do rhyming Hobby Hole? Hobby Hole's difficult because it has the L.
Hobby Hole?
Because you have
Hobby
to
Hole.
hob.
Yeah.
The L really fucks it up.
Oh, a common goal.
Ooh.
We've got the common goal of the Hobby Hole.
Guacamole, but
Guacamole. Hang on. Do you know what's funny is that I know I've got this scheme here. So hang on, let me go.
You're gonna
give us some Hobby Hole rhymes to close out the episode.
I wonder if I've got Hobby Hole specifically, or if I've
you
just
might.
got.
No, we'll copyright strike you if you did. Oh, okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. Oh,
no.
I've got loads. All right.
Wait. I just thought of a couple too as well. Right. We'll go back and forth. We'll go back and forth. We'll do line before line. So you do one.
All right. Here we go. Back to back. Bar for bar. We've both got all three of us have got a common goal.
Oh, we run our lives like rock and roll.
Oh, you've got the same list as I do, which provides so much good, like a pot of gold.
On fire, but icy like hot and cold.
Hot and cold. But it seems like you maybe have lost control.
I'm money hungry. I love the gold.
Well, let's make some money from this podcast then. Problem solved.
Oh,
Sorry, I've got the common cold.
Wait a minute. I've got the common cold.
Coffee.
I love the idea that people say, what's the wrong? And I come into school, what's the matter? I've got the common cold. You can just say cold. You can just say cold.
Listen, I've had the rare cold before and it's different.
Yeah. If I may interject,
it's different.
Where I'm from, they call it a bun, not a roll.
Oh, not a roll. Oh, I've lost control.
Like a sesame seed, I'm on a roll.
Yeah.
But he wants to make a pot of gold, but unfortunately I'm on the dole. Which is why I'm here in the daytime and why I can be on Hobby Hole.
Yeah, Hobby Hole.
Well, thank you for joining us down the Hobby Hole, everyone.
Yay! Thank you very much. Yeah.